Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're exploring the very edges of human endurance. We are diving deep into the psychological breaking point of the human mind by analyzing two extreme yet completely different 100-day isolation experiments. Because, we really want to see what happens when you completely strip away the normal world, leaving the mind entirely to its own devices.
Have you ever wondered what it actually sounds like when a human mind starts breaking? It's a terrifying question, right? You might imagine screaming, panic, sheer chaos. But it isn't any of those things. Honestly, it's silence. The terrifying, crushing silence of absolute isolation. It's the sound of the brain having literally nothing left to process but itself.
And that brings us to the core of our explainer today. We're looking at a parallel descent into madness across two highly modern prisons. On one side, we've got the physical torture of a blindingly white room, a completely sterile cube with no windows, no natural light, nowhere to hide. And on the other side, we have the digital void of virtual reality, the metaverse. One is a prison of physical emptiness, and the other is a prison of infinite, yet completely hollow digital space.
Section 1. Two prisons, 100 days. Let's get right into it.
Let's meet the subjects who voluntarily trapped themselves in these environments. And going in, they were so blinded by optimism, basically treating this like a long vacation. In the physical world, we have two complete strangers, Susie and Bailey. They walked into a giant, heavily surveilled white cube put together by mrbeast for the chance to win a massive $500,000 prize. The rules are simple. Survive 100 days together, the money is theirs. But if one leaves, they both walk away with absolutely nothing.
Meanwhile, over in the digital world, YouTube creator Ryan Trahan strapped on a VR headset to live exclusively in the metaverse for 100 days. Like he said himself, he was literally trapping himself on purpose. He traded his physical reality for a digital avatar with the goal of becoming the most famous person in the metaverse. His entire physical world was suddenly reduced to nothing but that headset, a mini-fridge, and a bed.
Section 2. The Psychology of Isolation.
So it really doesn't take long for the psychological decay to begin. It shifts incredibly fast from simple boredom into severe mental struggle as the brain desperately searches for stimulation. Under 24/7 glaring white lights, with no windows to even track the sun, Susie and Bailey's grip on reality slipped drastically within the very first week. By day 4, Bailey is ripping up journal paper to make a makeshift deck of cards. By day 5, they're making fake sign-in sheets to trick the camera crew just so they can track the date. And get this, by day 7, Bailey is literally whipping pieces of canned pork at the wall just to feel a sense of accomplishment.
At the exact same time, over in the digital world, Ryan was experiencing this intense wave of loneliness. On day 5, his only virtual friend, a guy named Clay, essentially dies right in front of him because his headset battery ran out. By day 19, Ryan is just wandering aimlessly in Minecraft alone. And by day 36, he's sitting with 0 friends online, feeling pure existential dread. He is completely, totally isolated in a world full of avatars. Both of these experiments forced the participants into some truly bizarre coping mechanisms just to maintain a shred of sanity. In the cube, Bailey built a makeshift chair out of empty food boxes, while Susie built a shield out of blankets just to hide from those agonizingly bright lights. In the metaverse, Ryan found people who would just stare silently into virtual mirrors for hours on end. Ryan himself ended up throwing a massive, entirely fake mansion party, even lying about having a famous DJ just to get avatars to hang out with him.
Section 3. Temptations and Regret. Now, the psychological torture didn't just come from the environment itself. It came from temptation. The creators of these challenges used the basic human desire for comfort as a weapon. Susie and Bailey were repeatedly offered basic comforts in exchange for chunks of their prize money. At first, they actually stayed strong. They rejected a $50,000 private chef and $50,000 for smart beds. But the deprivation completely wore them down. By day 70, they finally caved, making a staggering bid of over $100,000 just to get decent beds, hot food, and a TV with movies.
But here's the crucial point. Their most crushing mental struggle came from a moment of regret, not deprivation. Right before that massive purchase, they were offered a $50,000 mystery box. Playing it safe, they refused it to protect their prize pool. Then, the box was opened to reveal they had just rejected 2 free Teslas. Susie was absolutely devastated. It sparked 9 days of bitter resentment and literal physical sickness just from the regret.
For Ryan, the temptation wasn't about spending money at all. It was simply the temptation to give up. His physical body was rapidly decaying from sheer neglect. He was living on a diet of pizzas, literally slid under his door by his wife, his room was an absolute mess, and his skin was breaking out to the point where he joked his acne was having a city council meeting on his forehead. The temptation to just rip that headset off and end the physical discomfort was immense.
Section 4. The illusion of connection.
As the day is dragged on into the final stretch, the true terror of isolation shifted from the bright lights and the VR interfaces to the incredibly toxic dynamics of human connection. Inside the physical cube, the psychological pressure turned Susie and Bailey from supportive teammates into deeply frustrated roommates. Bailey would be raving alone with super high energy at 3 in the morning. Susie retaliated by using all the hot water for hour-long showers. She even spitefully hid the Monopoly dice so she didn't have to interact with him, which led to hours where they completely froze each other out.
Ryan faced a completely different kind of breakdown. Despite throwing the biggest party the metaverse had ever seen and actually becoming famous among the avatars, he realized his digital fame was entirely hollow. He just missed his one real virtual friend, Clay. In a realization that captures this modern digital tragedy perfectly, he admitted, "I don't even know how to ask Clay to exist." Without a real-world connection, his virtual friend was just gone.
Section 5. Split, Steal, or Escape. Finally, day 100 arrived, bringing the climactic breaking point that tested what they had ultimately learned from all this isolation. For Ryan, his challenge ended with an escape. He realized that true connection just couldn't be found in the metaverse. So he finally took off the headset, walked out of his room, and actually met his virtual friend Clay in real life. They went and grabbed fast food together, proving that genuine physical human presence will always trump a digital avatar.
But for Susie and Bailey, walking out of that cube came with one final, emotionally agonizing psychological test. It was the classic prisoner's dilemma. If they both choose split, they share the money. If one steals, they take it all. But if they both steal, they walk away with absolutely zero after 100 grueling days of suffering.
And the stakes were incredibly high. Because of their in-queued purchases, the remaining prize pool was exactly $360,000. Think about that. After 100 days of misery, absolute boredom, and growing to intensely resent each other's habits, they had just 30 seconds to decide whether to split the cash or steal everything from their partner. They were separated. They had noise-canceling headphones placed on their heads to completely block out the world and each other. Their fingers hovered over the buttons. Green for split, red for steal. It was the ultimate test of human trust. Had the isolation turned them into completely selfish survivors, or had it actually bonded them? The room flashed green. They both chose to split the money. It proved that even after descending into darkness, total frustration, and absolute madness, our minds still fiercely and desperately crave connection and trust. So I want to leave you with this final thought to take away from our explainer today. If you were trapped in a white room for 100 days with a stranger, staring at a button that could change your life at their expense, what would you choose?